from the best little beer store on the planet. Alright, so what are we doing for our little liquid lesson for today? Well, we're doing Gueuze, Gose, and Berlinerweisse. Well, that's a mouthful just to say phonetically, let alone the fact that it actually is all three beer styles are a mouthful when you're drinking them. So let's break these beers down. Alright, so all three beers, I mean, they pack a punch. They bring on the funk. Let's cue some James Brown, not Marky Mark, but let's cue some James Brown, folks. And so these funky beers all have different heritages and different nuances, but really what thread that ties them together is that they all have this inherent sourness. So let's break down each individual beer style so you get a sense of what they bring to the table, if you will. So Gueuze. It is a beer style that's actually a blend of lambics. So wait a minute, hold up. So lambics, I mean, let's break down that. So lambics first, so everyone knows. Lambic is this wild ale. It is a beer that essentially the brewers are brewing this beer and they just let it open the vat and they say, let's just let the brewery happen, let it happen what happens. And so it allows for this ambient yeast, this wild yeast, just to go to town on this beer, creating a very wild and funky beer. So when you go and you're talking about the Gueuze beer, it's essentially hedging your bets. It is taking a young lambic, blending it with a older, more mature lambic, and so you get this kind of more balanced beer. You're getting the kind of young, sprightly aspect of it from the kind of 1 year old lambic to a kind of more mature, earthy style when you're blending in the kind of 2 to 3 year old mature lambic. And so you blend those two together, you cup them in a bottle, you allow it to secondary ferment, which means essentially that it's taking that additional residual sugar from the young lambic and creating additional alcohol as well as additional effervescence. So this beer it jumps out of the glass. So on to the next sour style is the Gose. It is a beer that is German engineered. It actually stems from the Middle Ages, going way back to 1,000 years ago. And it is a beer that is intriguing to say the least. It is when it comes to senses, it takes into account sourness, it takes into account sweetness, and it takes into account saltiness. And so this saltiness, this is where it really kind of differentiates itself for sure. It is a funny, kind of interesting story about the fact that it comes from a place called Gose in Germany. And they used to believe that their river had these kind of magical, mystical white crystals. Well, lo and behold, when you think about it, and the fact that the beer, this Gose has a kind of a saline, salty taste, we kind of know what we kind of define what the mystic is, and so it's this saltiness from the river that goes into the beer. The third sour style of the sisterhood of sourness, if you will, is the Berlinerweisse. And this beer, as you would surmise, comes from Berlin. It's similar to the other two, has this resonates a sourness, and it is a bright, light beer. Similar to the other two, has a component of wheat in the beer. And funny enough, this beer style, they did not boil the wort, which normally would kind of eradicate out some of the kind of it would sanitize the beer, if you will. But by not boiling it, they're allowing it this funkiness to just cultivate and just take over the beer style. So it is a beer that has this inherent crisp sourness to it. And so all three beers have this beautiful tartness. It's kind of the sisterhood of sour. So join me for the art of tart as we evaluate these three intriguing sour beers. Cheers.